Hey folks, it's Dave here, back in Studio B today, and I'm going to look at two hockey games from Downey Games, Final Score Hockey and Ultra Quick Hockey. Both of these games are very similar, but there's a couple of different wrinkles, and we'll look at them all today. The object is to get a final score quickly from these games. So you have, let's look at our chart. You have offensive rating, defensive rating. That's going to lead to an adjusted rating. You factor in home ice, you get a final rating, and then you roll to get the final score, okay? Both games are pretty much set up the same way with a couple different things, and we'll get into that. But the idea is you adjust your ratings, you go to the chart, you roll your dice, and that's how many goals your team scored. That's kind of basically how it works out. So let's start with final score first. So final score here, I got the 70s decades for $10.95, so it's $11, and that comes with everything you need to play. It's all the parts and charts, as I call it. And they even give you score sheets that you can print out. I've just modified mine here on the Excel here and jazzed it up a little bit. But everything is included here for that $10.95 to play final score. They even give you, like I said, the decade. So it's 70 to 79. Each season has its own sheet, and it's kind of basic, okay? So the teams are listed in alphabetical order. It gives you their actual stats, your win-loss ties and points, and then it gives you the ratings for the game. So you have your offensive rating number, letter actually defensive, and then you have your adjusted score and the whole bit, and even gives you the pressure number. So we'll fill all these in a second. I'll show you how to play, but that is final score right there. So you get $10.95 gets you 10 seasons and you're off and running. Now they do have a $50 package which gets you from 1918 to 2014, I think, and there's other packages as well where you have other leagues, you have Olympics, you have colleges, so there's quite the variety here in Final Score Hockey, and they're all fairly inexpensive. And again, it's kind of some basic numbers here in Final Score Hockey, but it does get you the final score. Now, let's take a look at Ultra Quick Hockey down over here. Okay, now with Ultra Quick Hockey, you need to buy the parts and charts separately. Okay, that's $3.95, so $4. So $4 gets you the parts and the charts. Okay, now I added the logo here just for some fun here. So this gets you off and running with Ultra Quick Hockey, but then you need to buy the seasons or a package of some kind. Okay, now once you buy the parts and the charts, you're done. You don't need to spend that $4 again. But I ended up buying the 79-80 hockey season. Again, I just added all the color here for myself. This was from the yearbook that year, and I just overlaid it just to give me some color. And this was $7.95. So you see the difference. $10.95 final score for the decade, $7.95 for a single season here in Ultra Quick Hockey. Now, the big difference is instead of having one page with all the teams for that season, everything is separated here. So as you can see, all these teams, these are all individual teams for this one year. I added the logos myself here so they don't come with the logos. But what you get now is, along with your offensive and defensive rating and home ice rating and your normalization rating, you have a list of all the players that played on the team. Okay, you even have the option to select which goaltender or role which goaltender plays in net for that team, and that may adjust some of your final ratings as well. When the game is over, as you can see down below here, we have goals. Okay, so if we wanted to, we could go in after the game. Let's say the score is 2-1. We could roll to see who scored, who had the assists, and the time. And this is all done with dice. So you roll to see who got the goal. You roll to see how many assists, who got the assist, and there's a time chart too that you roll to see what the time of the goals were. So that is the bigger difference in this. Probably why it's more expensive is it lists all the individual plays. It's not so much a team game, but you can really get into some stats with this if you want. So, and now at the bottom here, and with this one here too, there's all different kind of packages. Some minor league stuff. I think there was some Russian seasons in here. So there's with each game, there's all kinds of choices for you if you want. I think the a decade is $59. So I got one season for $8. So an entire decade would go for $60. So it's like a 25% saving if you want to go like that. And again, you get all the different players. So this is really if you want to keep all kinds of individual stats. So anyway, let's play an example game and an even example hybrid game. Okay, so we're going to go to the final score first. So let's go to the offensive chart for Buffalo 79-80. Okay, So it works on a letter system. And the lower the letter, the worse, the higher the better. So ABC is not good, XYZ is good. Now, you can go a little bit beyond that as well with some of the greater teams or really bad teams, but for the most part, you're going to fall in A to Z, okay? So let's start first. Let's start filling this out first. So I go to my Buffalo chart here, 79-80 in Downey final score, and Buffalo offense is M, okay? And their defense is 0. Okay. So now let's go to Boston. Boston offense is O, and their defense is 0 as well. So there's no adjustment to be made. Now, if the Boston defense was, say, -1, then M would become L because we go backwards. If it was plus, then we go up to N, if you follow that. So there's no adjustments made right now. So it's still M, and it's still O. How about O? How about a capital O? There we go. So that's where we have our adjusted scores. Okay, so there's really no adjustment because both teams are 0. Again, if it was a +1, then you would go up, and if it's minus, you go down. So home ice. It's a 1-to-1 for Boston. Now, how home ice works out is the first number you add to the home team. Okay, so 1 added to 0 becomes P, LMNOP. So our final rating for Boston offense is P. Well, the second part of the home ice, you subtract. Okay, so M now becomes L. Sounds confusing, but once you get used to it, you'll understand. Now, here's a little chart that I have here that I've been using. It goes from A to Z. So again, so if I'm on M and I subtract, it goes to L. Okay, if I'm on O and I add, it goes to P. So a little confusing at first, but that's how it goes. So the home ice factor adds 1 to my O to P and subtracts 1 from M to make it L. So that is our final ratings. Now let's add our pressure ratings in. Okay, now these are all on the chart for the Buffalo and Boston in 79-80. So Buffalo has an E pressure rating and Boston has a C pressure rating. Okay, so now we're good to go. We're ready to roll for the final score. So I got my final score hockey scoring chart. You roll 2 dice, 10s and 1s like in most games, and this is going to give us the final score. So for Buffalo first, I'm going to look in final rating is L. Okay, so I'm going to be looking in chart L, 11-66, and this is how many goals Buffalo scored. So they got 26. So if I look at 26 under the L, that is 3 goals. That's actually a pretty good game. So Buffalo scored 3 goals. Now we look at Boston. So Boston's final rating is P. I actually got to flip the page to go to P. So let's see how many goals Boston scored. So they get a 45. So 45 on P is 5 goals. So that is our final score. It is Boston 5, Buffalo 3. So that's basically how you play the Downey games. Okay. Let's just say now, just to take a look at our pressure roll, let's just say that Boston had scored 4 instead of 5. So it's a 1-goal game. So how the pressure chart works is you have a pressure chart. So Buffalo needs a goal to tie the game. And if the game was tied, you would go to pressure chart too. Okay, but let's start with the team trailing. So Buffalo's trailing by a goal. So we're going to roll the dice on the pressure chart and look at E. So Buffalo would need a 62-66 to have a chance to tie the game. So I'm going to roll the dice, and they get a 26, so they didn't tie it, so Boston would win this 4-3 under the scenario. Let's just say, though, I did roll something with an X in the column that tied the game. So right now, it's a potential tying goal. So I rolled the dice, Buffalo potentially tied the game. Boston then rolls. If they get an X, then the goalie made the save. If he didn't get an X, then Buffalo did indeed tie the game. Okay, so it's basically who gets an X and who didn't. So that's how you would solve a 1-goal game. In a tie game, it's the same thing. It's pressure. It's the end of the game. You roll under E for Buffalo, then you roll under C for Boston. If one team had an X and the other didn't, that team gets the goal to win the game. If they both did or they both didn't, we go to overtime or shootout, and you go to the overtime rolls. So that's where the pressure roll comes into play, and I do like that. I do like the pressure roll. I think that really adds to it. So in our score here, it was 5-3 on Final Score Hockey. Now let's go to Ultra Quick Hockey. Okay, so we're gonna go to our offensive ratings. For Buffalo, it is O. Let me make that capital O. And the defense is -6. And the goalie, I'm going to put Edwards in net, and he has a 1. More on that in a second. Boston, offense is also O. Their defense is -4. And the goalie is Cheevers with a 0. Okay. We put in our home ice for Boston, which again is 1-1 on this one here. So now let's take a look at our ratings. So for Buffalo, it's O, and we -4 because Boston defense is -4, so that gives us K. Okay, so O, so NMLK. We go backwards. So our adjusted offense for Buffalo is K. Okay, now for Boston, it's O -6. So that's a really, really bad rating. But because Edwards is 1, we combine these two, and it's a -5. Okay? So O goes from NMLK down to J, actually. So it's... Yeah, I get messed up on this myself. So we go O, and we -6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's I. But because Edwards is 1, we come back 1 to J. Okay, so that's how the goalie factors in. Okay, so this is our adjusted one. Now let's go to the home ice. As we always do, we add 1 to home. So the final rating is now K, and we subtract 1 up here, and the final rating is J. Okay, so again, it's offense for Buffalo to Boston's defense, factor in the goalie, and that's where we go. Then we factor in home ice, so we have our final rating here. So now we're ready to roll the dice. Okay, now for Buffalo, Chivas was not a factor. Okay, a 0 is no factor, so it would just be the O minus the 4. Okay, that gets us to K. Subtract 1 for home ice gets us to J. Okay, now it does sound confusing, and I'm probably making it sound more confusing than it is, but once you do it once or twice, it really makes a lot of sense. So now let's roll. So now I got my scoring chart here for Ultra Quick Hockey. So Buffalo is a J rating, so we're going to roll on the J chart. And again, it's the 2 dice, dark and light. Ooh, a 64. That is really good. So a 64 on J. Okay, wow. That is a 5-goal night for Buffalo. So Buffalo scores 5 goals on Cheevers. Boston now, with a K rating, rolls their 2 dice, and they're going to need a high number as well, and they get a 21. So that is not very good. So a 21 on K is 2 goals. So in this game here, oh, that's a terrible looking size right there. There we go. I'll adjust that later. So in this game here, Buffalo wins this 5-2. So you can see it, just the roll of the dice was different here. I missed the pressure roll. I like the idea of a close game getting one last roll, but I also like the idea of a goalie that you can choose or you can roll to get different results. So let's play a hybrid version of Ultra Quick adding the pressure roll. Okay, so let's do this again here. So we're going to take our offense. So we have O and -6, and then Boston is O and -4. Our goalie is Edwards with 1. Cheevers 0. Our adjustments will be the same as above, K and J. The home ice is still 1-1. I'm just copying what's above me. So our final ratings is J and K again. Okay. But now I'm going to roll, and I'm going to incorporate the pressure roll from the other game and see if that gives us any different results. So Ultra Quick Hockey, let's roll again for J for Buffalo. They get a 33 this time. So Buffalo scores 3 goals this time. Okay. Boston rolls under K. Again, I'm using the ultra quick chart. Boston rolls 11. 0. So they were actually shut out. So there's our final score here. But I got to fix that one, don't I? So Buffalo wins that one 3-0. Oh, and that one's messed up too. So that's how that would play out. Again, let's go to our pressure roll. Let's just say this was 3-2. Okay, just so we can factor in the pressure roll. So now, I get my pressure chart. Again, this is the final score, this pressure chart. So I'm going to roll because Boston needs a goal. So Boston trails 3-2. They need to roll. So their pressure chart is C. So I look at chart C and see if I can get an X. Okay, a 32 does not do it. So Boston, under the pressure chart, would not tie the game. Again, if they did tie the game, Buffalo gets the roll to see if the goalie made the save or not to deny that scoring chance. So anyway, that's a quick look at final score and ultra quick hockey, both available from Downey Games. And then a little look at the hybrid version I put together by combining the goalie element of ultra quick hockey with the pressure roll from final score hockey. And again, one of the big differences with the ultra quick, you have the goal chart where you can add in the goals and assists with the players on your list. So anyway, I hope you liked this video. Just a little something I threw together today. I'm not sure which one I like better. I'm not even sure if I like the hybrid better. Sometimes you want to just get a quick final score, and that's where the ultra quick hockey would play because you don't have the pressure roll. So you just basically, you factor in your final rating and you get one roll. That's it. Winner takes all. Whereas final score hockey, if it's a 1-goal game or tied, you get that pressure roll, so it has a little bit to it there. And then with my hybrid edition, you have the goalie that's factored in, so you can choose different goalies or roll for a goalie, and then you also have the pressure. So a couple different ways to play here. If I wanted to play the hybrid way, though, I would need to make sure I had the same season with everything, so I'd have to buy doubles. I'd have to buy the final score and the ultra quick hockey seasons to make sure I had all the charts correct for that. So if I wanted to play that way, I would need to have both. So anyway, I'm Dave. I hope you liked this little video I did here as I got on the rabbit hole of cards and dice games. And these are some more fun ones here. And I'm hoping to play, I think I'm going to play the 79-80 playoffs using one of these. I haven't decided which one yet, which way. I got three ways to play here. So I'm going to play the 79-80 playoffs in their entirety using one of these systems. And maybe I'll try all three and see what kind of results I get, and I'll post them here on my channel. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Bye-bye.